We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about the Metro Action Commission, an agency here in Metro, obviously,
Yes.
that provides services, to help folks with, and we'll get into that, everything from rent to their utilities and things like that, as well as their involvement with Head Start. I want to say this too. We have viewers all around the Mid-State
Yes.
region, not just in Davidson County. If someone calls from outside the region, or are there other like-minded organizations in other cities?
There absolutely are. We're part of a sister organization called the Tennessee Association of Community Action Agencies.
Okay.
And so surrounding us, there is I think it's Mid-Cumberland Community Action Agency that provides services in the counties that touch Davidson County. And so we have someone that represents all 95 counties in Tennessee that offers either community services, which is the rent, the mortgage, utility assistance, and or Head Start. And so we are able to refer viewers who call in to us. We can let you know who our sister agency is in their county.
Right.
That link is also on our webpage, and so if they wanted to look there and put in their zip code, their agency would pop right up.
Good. Just wanted to say that, so that what we're talking about today, regardless of where you live, similar services would be available for you as well. By the way, funding for Metro Action Commission?
We're good.
But it comes from
federal funding.
All federal dollars. Any state
we do have some
city?
State pass through, so it may have originated through the federal government and it funnels down through the state, such as THDA is our funder for our energy assistance program.
All right.
Department of Human Services is the funder for our rent and mortgage assistance program. So that comes from the federal government and goes to the Department of Human Services. Now with Head Start, we receive the funding directly from the federal government, so it's not a pass-through. And then there's also an investment made by our city government into our budget. That's about $4 million there.
Okay, good. Well, again, in my opinion, money well spent to help a lot of folks. Let's get back to Shirley's question. All right, so if someone needs some help with their utility bill or something along those lines, how often can you apply, or maybe walk us through the process? Because that's what people may be wondering right now.
Sure. Again, our program year begins in October 1st, and it goes to September the 30th. And so we're at the last half of, or the last part of our current fiscal year. And so anyone who has received assistance between October of last year and now, you can only receive
one-time assistance. Would that be to pay for a utility bill for 1 month?
Well, it depends on the usage of the family. Some families that pays a portion of it. Some families it pays all of it. Some families it pays all, plus there's some left over for the next month. And so it just kind of depends on the cost of what their bill sits at right now and how much they qualify for. Things such as the amount of children that you have in your home, disability, your usage, all of that is calculated with the software system that we have from our funder. And so once it's calculated how much money you receive, say for instance $300 or $400, that is applied directly to your NES or Piedmont Gas or whoever your energy supplier is, applied directly to that bill, and it takes care of it.
All right. So again, though, if Shirley's calling in, she's already received some assistance during this October to September block. She has to wait to apply again after September 1st for the next year. October 1st, if she has the need for it.
Absolutely.
And I guess applying at that point then would be maybe thinking ahead toward utilities for the winter for heating.
Could be.
Or...
I mean, sometimes heating bills are the highest bill, and sometimes during the summer months that's your highest bill. And so what we urge customers to do is to look at your household budget and see what's going on. Sometimes families are not they don't have the luxury of planning ahead. They're in a crisis, something has happened, and they need help right away.
That's really where you guys step in the most, because this is not a sustained program where you're going to get a check every month to try to carry you through some tough periods if you're unemployed. It really strikes me as the scenario you just said. You're really there to help people that, frankly, are in a crisis moment, and hopefully, as you carry them through that one difficult month, they can get back on their feet to try to provide for themselves as best they can.
Many of our families, their budgets are very fragile.
Yes,
we
sure.
call it
Sure.
that. So
paycheck to paycheck,
right,
anything
anything
unexpected
that happens unexpected is a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so, car breaks down, children are sick.
Yeah.
The children had to stay, out of school, so that meant their parent had to stay out of school. So some of those scenarios are probably the bulk of some of the things that are happening to the families that we serve in that particular program. And so we're really happy that we're there for those types of situations. And so what we see is that, again, anything that can tear at the budget, the household budget, the monthly budget, it's going to be felt somewhere else.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so they come in and can get it that one time, and hopefully. Now, aside from assistance on utilities, you do help sometimes on a maybe 1 month basis. Rent?
We do.
Or mortgage payments?
We do. In addition to qualifying as far as your income is concerned, you have to have also a qualifying situation, such as you were laid off, or you had to be off unexpectedly due to an illness that you've had or someone in your family that you're responsible for caring for. And so if you have what's called a qualifying event, we get all the documentation that's required in order to apply for that program, and that money is also applied, or a check is sent to your landlord or the property owner on your behalf to cover the rent or the mortgage.
Be a big help, like you said, but it's just a one-time.
It's a one-time assistance.
I know you wish, we're going to get to call here, you could do more. It's amazing the demand.
Yeah.
And then you run out of money. So you have a choice of maybe carrying someone through. Maybe there's some elderly folks that maybe are in a real pickle that could use more than 1 month, but you spread it out as best you can.
Yeah,
you have to spread it out, and it's just a limited, but again, for crisis, keep in mind it's a crisis thing. This is not some handout that's going to help you out like an unemployment check.
Yeah.
This is crisis.
This is crisis.
All right, safety net there. Let's go to Chris. Hi, Christopher.
Hey, God bless you.
Good. How are you, Chris? Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, sir? Your shirt looks real dapper.
No tie this morning, but thank you. What can we do for you?
Amen. I was just wondering, does this program help the Afro-American communities, and why is it only one-time deal? I just wanted to know, because a lot of people are living in perilous times and where their finances, they have to really squeeze their money together to make it because of the economy and certain situations. And I was wondering, why is it only one time that they can get the help, or why is it such a long period in time for them to get it within like a year?
I gotcha. That's kind of what I was going at, Christopher, with her, because I wish they could do more. But maybe answer first of all his first question. I mean, you help anyone who qualifies. And certainly those within, the black community, white community, whatever. Anyone who comes in, if you qualify, is going to be helped. So this is not something that's looked at ethnicity otherwise, or it shouldn't. It should be whoever has the need. So what about that? I mean, it's a good question he asks about, wouldn't it be nice if you could do more? You would love to do more.
I would absolutely.
But it's a strategy you've chosen.
But it is a strategy, and it's one that I actually agree with.
Okay.
What we look at is, how can we impact a family to the point to where they will not need us. And so that's what we're in the business of doing, trying to get families in a position where they would not need Metropolitan Action Commission after the first or a few times with getting assistance. And so this is how we feel like that we can impact that. We can impact that through employment opportunities. Some of our families are underemployed. They have educational experience. Many of them have degrees and just cannot find a job in their field that's paying enough for them to cover their regular, just day-to-day expenses.
Well, so do you mean then that what you'll do is that you'll have someone who applies, because they're in that crisis zone, so not only will you, if they qualify, provide for them to cover that month, but then can you also get with them to provide, do you provide counseling, or you say, all right, what is your problem? And you look at that and they say, well, look, I lost my job yesterday, I can't find it, I'm really worried about paying the bill. Well, we'll help you with that. What do you do? And then do you refer them to help find work, or how do you able to provide that?
Yes, to all of the above.
Okay, so there's counseling that comes with it if they need it.
And here's how we do it. With our energy assistance program, because it is strictly income basis. So if you have if your income is within the federal guidelines, you qualify. If you're in Davidson County, if your account is not closed, you qualify. But on that application, we're asking, it's a 2-page application actually, and we're asking about other things that are going on, such as your education level, your knowledge about about Head Start if you have small children. Does your home need insulation? And so we're able to refer you to MDHA, and so sometimes it's just the energy, seeping out of homes, which are making the bills unmanageable.
Sure.
And so we're looking at a lot of different things other than come in, let us pay your bill. And so it's as much of a charge to us to make sure that we're providing exemplary services and that we're looking at the needs of families as it relates to what brought you in other than you can't pay your bill this month.
Okay.
What else is going on within your family that we can help with? And so we bear some of that burden of looking at information critically and doing analysis of it and seeing what else can we provide to this family to help them not need Metro Action.
That's great. And that's what you said then, is that it's the one-time thing, and then hopefully you don't see them again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to find a way to get them to...
We want to find a way, but certainly there are some families who fall within that, that little segment there where it is just a chore. It's really, really difficult just based upon just their life situations and just other things that are contributing to their challenges. And so we have a longer period of time, particularly in the Head Start program, where we can impact the family's life, because we have that child for between 1 and 2 years, depending on the age of the child. And some of children are with us 3 years because their birthday falls within a certain period and where they're not age eligible to go to kindergarten. And so that's our opportunity. That's our window of opportunity to impact that family, to look at everything that's going on as much as they allow us to look at and see what we can do. We had a summer training session a month ago where one of our former Head Start parents, she just received her doctorate from Trevecca, and so she will not need us again because she's to the point to where she has additional education and she has a job.
Great.
And so we want to do those types of things for families. We want them to be able to come into us, for us to really look at what's going on with their family dynamics and make a remarkable change to the point that they don't need us again.
And now that maybe doesn't happen in a month, though.
It may not.
I mean, it's hard, but that's great that that's done. So maybe you cover them for that month and you help them with this. What do they do if they, still need money
if they
for the next month?
Money?
I mean, do you guys work with NES at all to work with, is there a program we can help this family get through this next month without cutting off their power?
Yeah, we have an ongoing, back and forth relationship with NES, and so if there's a family that's in a crisis, because sometimes what they are qualified for, it doesn't cover their whole bill, so they need someone else to step in. And so there are other programs, not as large as ours, but they can help with families. So say, for instance, you have a family with a bill $800, and we've had that before.
Sure.
Well, you may have only qualified for $400 from us, and so we're going to try to see if there's something else out there where we can, partner you with Catholic Charities or some of the other organizations. We're also going to encourage that family to contact NES and see what's available as far as a repayment plan. And for the most part, they're able to help a lot of families, and so that's the whole mobilizing resources, which is a part of why we exist, why our community action agency exists. Not only the programs and services that we have, but we're charged with knowing what else is out in the community to help the families that we serve.
Great. On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, Dorothy and others, if you're on hold, we'll get to your phone calls. The number 737-7587. Have you benefited from Metro Action Commission? Do you have a question about the benefits, what's out there, anything along those lines? She's here. Lisa will answer your questions. We'll be back right after this.